Hopefully, let us know if you see us live, because I've never done this before.
Yeah, me neither.
So we'll see if YouTube works okay.
It doesn't look like we're on. It still says upcoming on my YouTube thingy.
Oh, it just turned 8 o'clock,
Here it
so
is.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yay! Okay, we're here. We're live. Yay! All right. Let us know who's watching and who's popping in. Sorry about the weird angles. I tried to fix that, but
I think it looks fine.
oh, actually, it does look fine from my other phone. It looks weird on my filming camera. Like I can only see this. Like that's it. Which is weird. Thank you, Mommy. She gave me a jacket. I'm cold.
Hi.
Hi. I was cold and she offered me a jacket. Hey, Deb. Hey, Carly. Nice to see you here.
Okay, I've never.
She's Celestria, or well, she's over there.
So happy to be here. So excited. I've never done like a book discussion video before, so like I'm kind of nervous, but like very excited. So.
Me too. I've only done pre-filmed ones. I've never done like a live. So.
You do reading sprints a lot though, so I feel like that would kind of give you some practice with.
Yeah, and I know everybody, so. Although you might know a lot of them too.
Hopefully, I'll see some familiar faces and usernames.
Yeah, but yeah, so Celestria is one of my best friends on YouTube, so check out her channel. It's literally her name, Celestria, so if you're new, make sure to check her out because she's awesome.
Yes, I kept it easy. Thank you, Katie. You're so sweet. I'm so honored that you asked me of all the people that you could have asked to do this with you. I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so special. So thank you for inviting me to do this book chat with you. I'm very excited.
You're welcome. Yeah, I saw your recent video about talking about your favorite fantasy books. I was like, yep, she's one.
Yeah. I love this book so much.
Yeah, Elma said she just finished the book 15 minutes ago.
Nice.
I finished it 2 hours ago, so I'm in the same boat. I just finished it.
Good timing. You finished it just in time.
I did. I made sure. I was like, I gotta get this right.
Well, disclaimer to everybody. I already told Katie this like a few minutes ago, but I read this book like 6 months ago. So I feel like I've forgotten so much. And my plan was to reread the book before we did this discussion to like refresh my memory on everything. I did not end up doing that. So I feel very ill prepared, but I know Katie read it recently, so we'll be fine. She's gonna, probably do most of the talking, but
especially my brain. Yeah, and just so you know, like, this is what my book looks like.
All the tabs. It's beautiful. I've never tabbed a book before.
This is my official first book I've ever tabbed. I'm like halfway through another one that I started last year, but this is the first one, so.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm not that. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm not the kind of tabbing person. I don't think I have like the patience to like stop and tab and be that organized, but I admire that other people do that.
I would not be if I wasn't planning to do this live. This was kind of to help me remember, which it did actually. Surprisingly, for those of you who don't know, I forget stuff so easily after I read a book. But when I tabbed, it took me like triple the amount of time to read, but I read it so much slower that it actually did help. So thankfully.
Yeah, that would help.
But yeah, so if you guys don't know, this was our buddy read for the Spring into Christian Fiction Readathon, and it was like the perfect option. I feel like I don't know about all of you who are watching right now, but like this might be my favorite of the year.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Well, I mean, you can tell I liked it. I mean,
yes. I'm so glad you loved it. Makes me so happy.
I did, I know, because I did not like her first book. Like, it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I was like, "Oh, please let me like this one more." And I did, so I was so
Talking about
scared. I was
Fox,
like,
right?
yeah, Fox, yeah.
I agree, this
Yeah, this
one's better.
one, yeah, so, so good. Oh, Elma just asked, "Do you think they'll continue the story?" If you wanna see my note that I finished, I literally wrote, oh, where is it? I wrote, "I need a sequel." That's what I wrote. I'm like, "I really need a sequel." Yeah, that ending, I was like, "We don't get any more? We don't get any more after they go into the stillness?" I'm like, "What?"
Yep, I
Um,
know. I know.
I guess it's a create your own ending, I guess, but I'm like, sometimes I don't like those.
Well, you never know if there's a high enough demand, it's always possible that the author could decide to write a sequel. She left it very open for that possibility, so you never know.
Yeah, she did. So, yeah, so for those of us, send her tons of messages
Yeah.
saying, "We need a sequel." Tag her on Instagram, say, "Paperbacks and Ponytails says we need a sequel. We need a sequel.
Yes.
Everybody needs a sequel."
I really I thought the ending it's weird, but I kind of liked the ending and how she left it, and I was like, "I don't need a sequel, like, I like it as a standalone," but at this point, I'm like, I wouldn't be mad if she wrote a sequel, you know? Like, it would be cool to, like, dive back into the world and the characters again. I think
Yeah,
I'd be
definitely.
happy either way.
So, where should we start? There are discussion questions in the back, which I thought I didn't even look at them, but, like, maybe we should, like, just see, and maybe everybody else would like to answer in the comments too and
Ooh,
find out what our answers are. So I didn't even look. I kind of glanced at like the first time, like these would be fun to kind of talk about in the book chat. So
that's
the first question
true.
says maybe just one or two. Let's see. This one's kind of cool. Number 2, it says, "Which talent would you want if you visited the well?" I like that question.
Ooh.
You know, but like it's kind of like an unanswerable question almost because like as they say in the book, like as you visit the well, like some people really want like one thing, but they might not get that thing. The wish might get them something completely different or might not get them a talent at all. So like if you go expecting something, you might not get what you want.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. I mean, if I got a talent, I don't know. I really liked Bastion's talent of time stopping.
I
Like that's just
know.
so cool. Like when
That
I
was
read that,
super
I was
cool.
like, yes, that's like my one of my favorite things.
Yeah, his
That
talent
was
is
a
super
really good.
cool. I don't even know what I would pick because, like, the possibilities are just endless. I don't even know what I would want. That's just a hard question to answer. There's too many options. I don't know. There's too many things.
Hey Reese, I'm glad you made it. She popped in.
Yay!
Deb
Ah,
popped in. Deb, you're halfway through the book. Oh no. We'll try not to spoil it. I'm gonna try to go in order. So like once we hit like the halfway mark, hop off.
we'll do our best.
Yeah.
Curious what you guys would pick if you could pick a talent. What talent would you want? I have no idea. I cannot possibly choose.
I definitely like the time stopping. I think that would be fun.
That one is
Just be
really
able to
cool.
do anything, but then like you wouldn't have people to be around them if they were with you. Like that's kind of a bad point. I mean, you can bring anybody with you, but then you don't age, and they do. So it's like by the
Yeah,
time
I
you're back
know.
home, they're like 80 and you're still 20.
That would be really bad. Yeah, there's definitely like cons to some of the talents. Have to be very careful with them. And I feel like that would also be kind of like creepy to to be in the stillness because it'd be like kind of lonely. Like even if you like brought a person or two with you, everything else is like frozen in time. So I feel like that'd be kind of eerie to like be in the stillness. I don't really know if I'd like that, to be honest. As cool as it
You can have
sounds.
you can have 100 years to read, and no time
That's
would have
true.
passed.
That's true. We could freeze time, make some progress on our TBRs, and then when we catch up, we can unfreeze time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we could be like, we come back and be like, my 2,000 book TBR is done.
Nice, very nice. Alma said
Um,
mind reading. That would be cool.
yeah.
That would be cool. It could be bad though. You might learn some things that you wish you didn't know.
Or like it'd be better like if you only like were able to like touch one person and read their mind versus like you could be reading everybody's mind all at
True.
once.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that would be really too overwhelming to like just be able to read everyone's mind at once at any given moment.
Mrs. Thomas says maybe always seeing good intentions of or seeing help available. Nice.
That's
like
a good one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I
And then
have
Alma
always.
said,
Oh wait.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, thinking I have kind of thought about this in terms of like because I've always liked like superhero movies and things like that with people with like powers, and I have thought before like what kind of superpower would I want, and I have always thought that like is it telekinesis or something where you can like move objects with your mind or something?
Yeah.
I've always thought that was really cool. So maybe if I could have a talent, I would want that talent. To be able to move objects just thinking about it.
Alma says she'd like to read all the books and learn piano.
Very nice.
Oh, Bastion. No,
Mhm.
Bastion. Yeah, he did read and yeah, learn piano. I did forget that part. See, I knew I was gonna forget something.
I've forgotten so much. I know I have. It's terrible.
Oh, she'd like to know if someone was lying. Yeah, that would be a good one, like the character at the end of the book that when she touched, she knew if somebody was lying or not. That is a good
That's
one
true.
too.
That is a very good one. That would very much come in handy.
Mm-hmm. Stampin' Cash just says she's sitting here on mute because she doesn't want any spoilers.
Aw. Well,
Thanks
thank
for
you for
being
being
here.
here and showing support. We appreciate it. We're glad you're here. Ree said mind reading. Yeah, it would be helpful. That would be a cool one for sure.
Elma says, what are the 3 categories of talent that are mentioned? Yeah, okay. Physical, anything physical outside like the time stop of the mind, I believe, and of the body, like healing and stuff like that. I think that's what it is.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
vaguely
wrote that down.
familiar. I remember that.
I wrote it down. There it is. Yeah, body, external effect, and knowledge or mind. Yeah.
Mm.
I made notes every pages, so like
Oh my goodness,
I went
that's
all out.
amazing.
I saw somebody do that. I'm like, that's genius. Because like by the end
Yeah.
of the book, like my final thoughts, I'd be like, I like the book. It was great.
Yeah, that's me. When I was planning on rereading it, I was like, I'm gonna make notes along the way. That way I'll have like actually be able to and talk about it intelligently when we do the discussion, and then it just didn't happen.
That's okay. We know it's one of your favorite books. That's all that matters.
Yes, it is. I will reread it one of these days, but it just hasn't happened yet.
But yeah, so I don't remember who said that they were in the middle of it, but mute us. Well, because it's part of it, but like in the beginning when she like killed her father, and I was like, like, oh no, like I never
I
like
know.
figured it out. Like I thought it was kind of her fault, like she was trying to just like kind of put him out of his misery, like in a kind way, without even realizing it. But then realizing later, like what actually happened, like it was gonna happen anyways. Like I thought, like I was like, I never even thought about that. Like it was meant to happen anyways, and she just sped time for them, pretty much. I thought that was really neat, and like that was one of the shocking points. Where I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That was so sad at the beginning, and
It was,
uh,
I know they start
poor
off right
Mark.
sad. It's like, damn.
I know she went through so much, and then her Oma is like the worst person on the planet. This poor girl, like
Really?
she's horrible.
I thought she was gonna have like a redeeming story by the end of the book. Like, hey, they got back together, and no.
Nope, not at all. She was just terrible from beginning to end.
I even put in the beginning when I first saw Oma, I said something like, where is it? I know I said something about her like, is she gonna stay bad or is she gonna be good? Like, oh, I put, is Oma going to be a bad character? That was like on page 5. Like, I
Oh
got
my
that
gosh.
right.
Yes, she's the worst. Oh my gosh. Especially considering like she's family, you know, like not just some stranger that was like, you know, didn't care about her, but like she's her grandmother, like she's supposed to be like love her the most and like she was horrible. The worst betrayal. But so sad.
Yeah, Elma said the
Mm.
wishes had to be so specific with contracts. Yeah, like you can just wish like, hey, I wished for ice skating on the pond. Look what look what that happened. And she's
Yeah,
like
that's
Elsa
so true.
froze the entire kingdom.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of Elsa, that's true. Yeah, that would be so stressful to have to be like that specific and like the
Yeah.
stress, the pressure to ever use one of the wish. I'd be too scared to ever use a wish.
Yeah, so Oma was kind of smart that way, where like she didn't want her to do wishes because she knew how powerful they were and how like just uncontrollable they were. So like that part with Alma I can understand, especially when Mirth got older. Like she kind of realized that wishes couldn't be taken so loosely. So I feel like Alma did help in that way. Just
She
she could have been
she did.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. She definitely like knew what she was doing and was, you know, wise about like how to use like the best way to use them and everything. But the other stuff, the way she went about doing it and just like using mirth and not actually caring about her as a person, like that was not good. It's not good at all.
I don't know if you noticed. I don't know. Do you know the story of the Snow Queen?
Not I've never
Uh,
really read that story, so not really. Like I've heard about
uh,
it vaguely.
there's a movie too, but like when the parts during the trials later on, when they were talking about the seasons and the different trials, I'm like, this
Mhm.
is giving me really strong feelings of the Snow Queen.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah, because the Snow
interesting.
Queen, there's like a person with a frozen heart who can't feel any feelings, and so somebody has to go on a quest to kind of unfreeze his heart. And she goes through all the seasons, like trials. I'm like, I'm gonna message her and say, "Did you ever read or watch the Snow Queen?"
Yeah, I'd be interested if that like inspired parts of the
Yeah.
story in any way. That's interesting. I have read
Yeah,
like
most
some
most likely
retellings
places
that
do.
were inspired by the Snow Queen, I think, but I've never read the actual story, so I don't know like how much is of what I've read has been like accurate or made up or whatever, but that would be interesting to know.
Okay, so if you can remember, what was your favorite character, Celestria? And you as
Oh, I do
well too.
remember this. Runt was my favorite character.
Me too. I loved Ron so much.
He was so sweet. I loved him. He was adorable and he just needed someone to adopt him and love him and take care of him. This poor little
I know,
orphan
I
boy.
loved
I
him.
loved him.
He was so cute. I know. Like it was funny when I don't know if you remember when did you figure out whose son he was?
I did
You
not.
didn't?
And I no, because I didn't I don't want to say stuff and like spoil if people haven't gone that far. But yeah, the way the time worked and the year like the ages didn't match up for me and I didn't think about and I was just like, "Oh no, that can't be it." And then it was it and I was like, "Oh my gosh." No, I didn't see it. I didn't guess it beforehand. So I was
I'm trying to
surprised.
find my comment. There's this part where the part where what's her name? Can't remember her name. Anouk, when she tells Mirth about her curse and that she had a baby. I at that instant I was like, is it Run? Like like at the very moment she said she had a son, like, and then like, no, wait a minute, the age is different. And I was like, no, wait.
Exactly.
But then I was like, they didn't say at that point that he brought him the timeless. Like, what if he did? Like, I was like thinking like way outside the box at that point. I was like, what if you did take him and the age difference and he aged like years and timeless, even though you don't even know.
Yes, I never even considered the stillness having anything to do with it. So I quickly dismissed the idea when the age didn't match up. And I was like, oh no, that's not it. And then it was, and I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that was a big surprise. Carly said she guessed it right away.
Yeah, I guess right away I was like, well, he's the only kid in the book too. Like they don't really talk about any of the other kids, so
I just didn't think she was gonna get reunited with her kid. So I just was
I
like,
was
oh.
I was happy that they were though. I was like, if she didn't do that, I would have been like really upset.
Yeah, I am glad that that ended happily, at least. That was very sweet. Made me very happy. It sounds like Runt was a lot of people's favorite. He's so sweet.
Oh yeah, in the beginning, I had no idea that when names escaped me and I wrote it down somewhere. Coreless. When Coreless, like when she asked for a wish in the beginning to find her son's murderers, I had no clue. Like I
Me
honestly thought it was a
neither.
stranger. I thought it could have been, the prince or the murder prince or, anybody like that. And then it ends up being Mirth in the beginning. I'm
I know.
like
There
that
was a lot
surprised
of
me.
surprises for me in this book. Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. I was like, oh
I didn't
my
see
god, no way. That was sad. But
I
yeah,
know it's sad. I'm like, it's not your fault, girl. Don't
I
blame
know.
yourself. I was kind
I
of
know.
hoping, honestly, that like when like the waters came and like the river defrosted, like that would have brought them back to life too. And no, we didn't get that.
So sad. um, but yeah, can you imagine living with that guilt though? Even though like it wasn't her fault, like had no idea, never intended for anything like that. But it's like, that would be you would live with that guilt for the rest of your life. That would be hard
Yeah.
to live with. So sad. But yeah, I never saw that coming. Crazy.
Mrs. Thomas says she's surprised how he was conceived, though. Yeah, me too. I was like, that was definitely a hard part of the story. Like,
Yeah, I know.
oh,
I was really surprised about that too because I just didn't expect Nadine to go there and go that dark in her book, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So
yeah.
this book definitely is, definitely YA, because it's a little that was hard.
Yeah, Elma says when she broke all the wishes, why didn't she keep some? I know, you think like, but she probably figured, well, it was before she was cursed. So she figured, I can make as many wishes as I want. And I'm so mad that I don't want my grandmother to have anymore. So she just broke whatever her grandmother had. And it's just so
That's
sad though. You can't
true.
have any more wishes. Hey,
Yeah, that was
Christy.
bad. Chrissy!
Christy's here finally. You missed some good conversation already. Oh yeah, I
Chrissy, I
forgot about
remember you loving the book. I think you did a whole video about it, didn't you? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I probably would have asked you, Christy, if Celestria said no.
Chrissy probably remembers the book better than I do, to be honest.
You're doing really good.
Thank you. I did like an hour before this chat. I was scrambling. I was like, I'm gonna skim over the last few chapters to try to at least remember the ending. Oh.
Okay, who's
Wait, I don't
Miriam,
remember.
Christy? I know. I,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
what I
I'm
was about to
thinking of the right book. I'm like, I don't remember Miriam being in the book.
I don't either.
Unless I missed something. Let us know, Christy,
Oh.
because I'm lost.
Or maybe she said the wrong name. I don't
And maybe I'm like,
Oh, did you mean Mirth?
oh yeah, did it like
Autocorrect?
type nurse and autocorrect Miriam? Yeah. Hey Miriam, where are you? Yeah. What are you talking about? You know?
I thought
But
the
Mirth,
romance was really good.
yeah, I like that it wasn't like super heavy and like how like
Mhm.
it was a slow progression and not like, hey, I like you right away. You know, it's more of like, he saw her in the market, he thought
Mhm.
she was very sweet to give him bread and he remembered her, like that was important to him. And but it was sad that she like didn't even remember him. She's like, I don't remember you.
I know.
Like,
I know. I wish I could remember more about, like, the romance and things that happened. It's one of the parts that I just don't really remember, but I do remember that I liked it a lot, and I do like slow-moving romance a lot better than, like, they instantly,
yeah.
are obsessed with each other, It's a lot nicer when it's slow and they get to know each other. It's much better.
Okay, I think I'm done with my notes on the first 100 pages. Like going through all my little happy notes here.
So many notes.
I know, at least like it helps me think and stuff.
Oh,
And yeah, so I'd love to see
almost.
your annotations, Chrissy. Like
Oh,
you missed
yeah.
mine. Mine's like completely full. Like, I'm surprised I can close the book.
Almost said, "What about Sven, her first love interest?"
I
Horrible.
hated him.
Garbage.
I know right from the beginning. I'm like, no, no, no.
Mm. Yeah,
At
right from the
least you didn't
get-go.
stay.
We
Yeah,
saw the red flags. We knew he was no good.
yeah. At least she didn't stay with him too long. Like I'm please don't let her be with this guy for like through most of the book. At least.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, he was horrible. I was reminded how horrible he was, like I said, skimming, like, the last few chapters, and I was like, "He's, like, the worst. Oh my gosh, I forgot how much I hated him." Ah, terrible. Chrissy said your annotations are epic.
Thank you. I wrote
He was
down page 158 was where like I felt like the romance started.
158.
Yeah, I put is love starting to bloom?
Aw. Love it.
Okay. So it says something connected us in that moment, something that transcended arguments, differences, and the unknown. We both had regrets, and somehow we found each other almost as though someone beyond us knew we needed each other for this moment or for this time. I was like, yeah,
Love that.
Prince of
So good.
love.
Talking about this today is after this, I'm probably gonna reread this book again. I'm gonna have to start it soon.
Yeah, so I did forget to see what my tabs were. I did kind of share in like some of my book groups on Facebook, but like the main the blues were all like the magic and stuff, but the main ones that like I really wanted to concentrate on are the dark blues, and those are Christian analogies and Christian um symbolism. There was so much in here. I was like,
There
it
was.
was
It
crazy.
was so good.
I was like, if I read it in audiobook or if I read it at my normal speed, I would have missed like three-quarters of those.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I probably most likely missed some of it anyway. I know I probably only caught like a fraction of the symbolism that was even there. There's probably a lot of stuff that I missed. And um upon rereading, I will probably hopefully like get more of it because what was there was really cool. I really liked the way the author um put that in there, and it was really cool to see. And it was fun also just like knowing, that it was a Christian book, like looking for it. And so when I would find it, I was so excited. I'm like, there it is. I see what you did there, Nadine.
Yeah, I was like, like I kept asking, did she realize what she put there?
True.
Elma asked, so Sven loved Teddy, right? Yeah, I think he did, even though he liked Anouk at first. But like Hetty was with them like since the beginning of his like travels and stuff. So like I felt like I don't know if she was more useful to him, like, hey, I can't use her powers anymore. Like if he was like that with all the Krolls, or if it was just Mirth. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It could have been a little bit of love there. Kind of felt a little bit.
I don't remember. So I can't say.
Oh yeah, the Bane lady, the one Coreless. I can never pronounce her name. That's what it is.
I don't really know either. Coreless sounds good.
But yeah, I honestly thought she was gonna have a redeeming story by the end. Like I thought, like you know, either she was gonna have her sons back or she was gonna forgive Mirth. And I was like, there's nothing. Like she was mad until the end and wanted to control everybody and everything. It's like, nah.
I guess it's kind
I
of
like when
yeah, but it kind of keeps it more realistic though, because not everybody's gonna have a happy, perfect ending. So
yeah.
I guess
But it
some
felt like
people
none
kind of
of the
just
villains
had to
had
stay
a
mad.
happy ending. Like all the villains had a bad ending. I'm like, can we have one villain have a happy ending? Like them.
I don't
At least one. The prince, maybe. I don't know. I thought the prince would like be happy with the nuke, but no,
know. She did like Rent. That's
she
true,
did.
Mrs. Thomas.
That's why I thought that like Runt would change her mind.
Yeah.
No.
Who can resist Runt's cuteness? He's precious.
Elma's asking for examples, probably for the Christian allegories. Let's see. So many good ones. Okay. I like this one. On page 225 says, oh wait, are you looking it up, Celestria?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Do I need to look
Okay.
up 225?
No, you don't have to. I saw your head go down. I thought you were looking.
I was listening.
No. When he had first traveled to the well in the stillness, he drank the water to see what might happen. The cool liquid had relieved his parched heart with a single swallow, and he never again felt thirst in his soul like that. And it reminded me of God and the woman at the well, how he was like, I'm gonna give you living water and you'll never be thirsty again. So that was one of the examples that I saw that caught my eye. I was like,
So good. I love it.
that was a good one. Mrs. Thomas says, were the names allegorical? I don't know.
I never thought about the names before.
I honestly never heard of any of these names.
Yeah, me neither. If they were allegorical, it went over my head. I don't know.
To find out, to see like what their names mean or something. Maybe they do mean something.
Yeah, that would be interesting to learn. Other allegories.
This one's good. On page 288, it says, he received a talent and I did not. I wasn't about to go home empty-handed. We'd heard the night well was nearby and found it within a day, so I got myself a bane. And that's what got me. I was like, people are like this. Like when we don't get what we want from God, we go to other things to satisfy our wants. Like if God doesn't work right away, then we'll just go find it some other way in some other place. And some of these allegories, I'm like, just breaks my heart.
I know. And also like the whole like Nightwell thing, and like I feel like it's so true in that like it's not that like Satan or like the devil is like without power and like he can't give you, stuff and like what you want, because like you go to the Nightwell and you can get a bane. It is power and you do have like a sort of twisted talent. So you do get something from it and there is power there, but it's like it's twisted. Like it's not, and I feel like that's very true to like real life as well.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I had reread this book. I could talk about it so much better, I know, and remember the allegories better. Because I remember there was so much when I was reading it. Mostly, I remember, are we allowed to talk about the end?
I don't know. We've already talked a little bit about the end, so I think we're okay.
Okay. I don't
probably
wanna, like
gone. She probably muted us.
okay. But I remember, like, at the very end, like, everybody, like, the night well and the talent well is, like, available to everybody, and everybody gets a bane and a talent, and then they have to, um decide they that from now on, like, they're gonna have, like, this struggle inside of them to use the bane or to turn to, like, the talent and, like, the well and everything, and they're always gonna have, like, both those voices, like, pulling at them and everything, and they're always gonna be tempted, and also the whole thing about, like, they were saying, like, once you start using your bane and the more you use it, the stronger hold it has on you and the harder it is to resist it and break free of it. And I'm like, that's so, like, sin, and, like, the more you, like, give into sin, the stronger hold it has on you and the harder it is to get away from it. So I thought that was really symbolic as well.
Yeah,
And
I took a
how
note on
yeah. And, like, what I was saying about, everyone having, like, at the end of the book, a talent and a bane, and having to, like, struggle between the 2 is, like, our spirit and flesh, and, like, how the flesh is always trying to, like we're always having to, like, resist it and everything and turn to God instead. And, yeah, the symbolism was really good. I loved that.
Yeah, there's one part that says, "But to do so would allow the Bane authority over me again. Somehow I knew that the one way to defeat the Bane was to starve it." And that's so true of any sin. Like, if you have an addiction or if you have something, like, you literally have to get rid of it 100%. You have to starve it. And you can't just, like, say, "Oh, come back to it, like, once a year or once a month," and then, like,
Mm.
say, "I'm sorry, God." No, you have to really try hard to starve it and just say, "It's gone. It's in the past," and get rid of it.
Yep, very true.
Yeah, Elma, the way the night well spoke, yeah, it was really eerie and, like, yeah, like, it was twisting words and saying, like, "I'm not gonna control you. I'm gonna give you what you want." It's like, but you are controlling." Like,
Mhm.
"You're not letting me have a choice." Like, the well was, like, giving you a choice whether or not to come to the well. The Bane really wasn't. It was saying, "Here, I'm gonna shove this on you, and you're gonna take it."
So true, so creepy. Yes, Chrissy. She said, "I love how Faith played a huge role in Mirth's character as well. She has to press and have enough faith, not just for herself, but the entire kingdom." Are you reading more of your notes?
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to see, I'm like, "What did I cover already?" Yeah, I think we are on the last part of the book. We are talking a lot about it. You remember quite a bit. God's helping you,
I'm glad.
Celestria.
Maybe I'm remembering more than I thought I was going to. And also, other people talking about stuff kind of helps me remember certain things as well.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, the one part that, like, literally broke me down when Runt got a bane. Oh, that broke my heart.
Oh, the poor little guy. Oh my gosh. And he was so, like, horrified and, like, didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so horrifying. Oh, that was terrible. Poor little Rent.
I know, but it's kinda so true, especially, like, nowadays, how especially for kids, like, they don't know, like, things that people are telling them nowadays that are right, but they're really wrong. Like, Run kinda shows that throughout, like, he's very confused, he doesn't know, like, what this bane is, like, should I use it, should I not use it? Like, I don't want it, but, like, everyone's telling me I should use it, so I liked his character a lot. I felt so bad for
Yeah.
him.
I know, so sad. But he
Yeah,
got a happy ending though. He got a
he
talent in
did.
the
I
end.
was happy about
Ah,
I
there
know
were
that
so many
that part when he's controlled by Matthias and, like, he was getting ready to kill his friend. Like, I don't want to do it,
Oh
but
yeah,
he told
I
me to,
forgot
and
about that.
I'm like the poor kid's like desperate, they're like kind of like get away from me. Like you can see it in his eyes, but he's trying to kill him at the same time. Like,
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Poor little guy. He went through so much.
no. At least he loved the talent that he got. Like when he got his talent, he was like this
He
little
was
like
so.
5-year-old kid again. He's like, look what I
I
got.
know he was so excited.
I just
I
realized
love.
that's how little kids are when they like accept Jesus and how we are. Like we want to show it and say, look what I got.
So true.
Look. I loved it though. I don't know how like his talent went with him personally. Like I know like most of their talents kind of went with the Banes more went with like what they experienced in the past. I feel like Banes were kind of like, hey, you went through this in life. This will help you get rid of it. But talents were more new. Like they were new. You had no experience with it because that's what Jesus is. He's a
Mm.
whole new experience, a new talent. And that just popped in my head. So thank you, God. But yeah, like our sin is our past and it can eat us up in our future. But as talents are and as God is, it's an entirely new experience and a new talent and a new everything. So I just realized that. I thought that was a really cool thing too. Like his is
That is.
completely new. And he wanted to protect people and I was like, oh, so cute.
I know. No, that is really cool. Chrissy said, "What did y'all think about Rent's reveal of who he is?" We were talking about that earlier. I did not see it coming at all. I thought for a split second, I was like, "Oh, maybe," you know. And then but then I thought that the times and like his age didn't match up, and I was like, "No, that couldn't be." And then when it was revealed who he was and who his mom was, I was so surprised. Did not expect it.
Yeah, I knew from the beginning. I knew. I'm like, ugh. Just yeah. When Anouk was telling her story and how she had a son, I was like, I bet it's him. Like even though there's an age difference, there's a reason. There's something going on. It's him. Okay, what about the trial? Yeah, we're just getting to like the more ending of the book. That was like a lot she went through.
The trials were stressful. I had no idea what was going on because I didn't know what to believe.
Yeah.
Because it was like this one thing was happening, and then it was like, oh, actually, that didn't actually happen. That was your imagination. It was just the trials making you think this was happening. And I was like, "Ugh, I can't handle this."
Kind of funny. Um, at the part when you find out that Bastion was a false one, like after he went into the sand,
Mm.
I had like a really quick thought. It was before that though, like when she sees him after the snowstorm in the first trial, and I'm like, how did he get there so quick? Like that was mighty quick. So I thought, is it a fake one? But I was wrong in the timing, but I was right in my assumption.
Right. You were doing better than me, girl. I was I was so confused and I was so stressed. I was like freaking out throughout the entire thing. It was so stressful.
I just think it was the taking notes. Like every page, I was like highlighting or annotating. So I'm like, my brain was like really overthinking everything.
Couldn't handle it.
And handle it. Oh yeah, and I thought it was interesting that like at first I didn't realize like King Matthias wasn't taking them to the well. I was like, I thought that's where they wanted to go, and I was like, oh no, like he can't control talents. He can only control Banes. Like that's why he's taking him to the night well and not the
Mhm.
regular well. Like he can't
Yes.
control,
Yeah, I
which is so true
forgot
too.
that that was his ability. I forgot about that. He wanted slaves.
Yeah, yeah, to control, and he could also remove talents too. That's what happened to Bastion too. He got rid of his time stop. I was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
now it's coming back.
Yeah, it is. I remember that now. That's crazy. He was a scary dude. He had too much power.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this. We gotta talk about this because otherwise, if we didn't talk about this, I'd be really upset. Muti. when she chased after her daughter before the trial, and she was chasing her down on the ice to catch up to her. Her mom was missing for like years.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I don't talk about that. I'm looking at my notes, and I'm like, I don't talk about this because like that's like one of the most important parts of the story.
I totally forgot about her and everything that happened. So, it's coming back to me now though. Wasn't she was like working in for Bastion's family?
Yeah.
Wasn't she?
Yeah, she was working at the windmill, and there's one part early on where like there's a lady who's calling for her, and she thinks that that she's being chased because of her wanted poster. I'm like, I'm thinking,
her
what
mom.
if it's your mom?
Oh my
Like, what
god,
if it's somebody you know?
that's crazy! Wow, I can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm
And
glad
she
you brought
chased
that
after
up.
her. She ends up dying. Anyways, I'm like,
I
got back
know, gosh,
together.
and that was so tragic. She did not get enough time with her before she died. I was so upset. I was so
But she
mad.
did remember, which I was very well. She didn't like remember like the past, but she remembered her calling her Muti and like this must be my daughter. So like her emotions were still there, even though her mind wasn't or her thoughts weren't. So
I
like she only
know.
got rid of the memory,
Yeah,
not the thought. Love still survived, even though she couldn't remember.
I know. It's so sad though. Did you cry in this book at any like with the mom or anything?
I I didn't physically cry, but I came really close, like 3 or 4 times.
I can't
I
remember.
think I
I
was
don't
just
think.
honestly overly tired for reading this book because it was taking me so long that I didn't physically was able to cry. But
You were
honestly,
too
if I
exhausted.
was more awake, I was. If I was more awake, I would have cried.
I don't think I cried either. But I was just thinking because I was like, did I cry with the whole mom thing? But I'm like, I think I would have remembered if I had cried.
Good night,
Reese
Reese.
says,
Thanks for popping in.
yeah. Yes, thank you so much for coming. Hope you have a good night.
This
Sleep well.
conversation is going a lot better than I thought.
Thank goodness.
I'm not I'm
I
not
was
nervous
so
anymore.
nervous.
I know why. It's like we know most everybody in the comments anyway.
I don't
And
know.
it's
It's
just
so
really me.
scary. I get anxiety with stuff like this. I'm like, it's live. I don't remember the book. What if I don't have anything to say? I was so nervous. But yeah, it's going better than I thought it was going to go. Alma cried. So sad.
Oh yeah, and Bastion, in the trials, like how he got his talent back, but like it wasn't full. Like he was still fighting the bad stuff in him. And it's true, I don't think he was like at that point until after like when he was in the well and kind of like figuring out like he wasn't fully giving himself up and giving up his old life yet. So it was close, but he had to get rid of it all before he could get rid of that. So
Yes, that was also really symbolic. He had to like fully surrender to the well before he could truly like be healed and be like reborn and brought back to life. So that was cool too. That moment was really cool.
yeah. And then she was connected to the well when Marissa was connected to the well, and the well was dried up. And I was like, it's like, oh no, she needs to cry. Like I figured out like exactly the same time he did, and I'm like, oh no, she needs to cry to fill the well, and she can't or she won't. And
Or else she'll die. I know. This book was very intense for a lot of so many moments were so intense.
in a good way though. Like felt like it
Yes,
was
in the best
definitely
way possible.
yeah, a good Christian fiction book. Probably one of the best, honestly, in terms of like a Jesus filled journey going through
Mhm.
to try to find a new life with him. So I loved it. I loved it.
Me too. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Did you say like what your favorite part of the book was yet? Do you have a favorite part? Favorite
I don't
scene?
remember. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of I wish I used a different color for favorite quotes because there's definitely I definitely knew I underlined a lot of favorites, but I wish I used a different color for favorite quotes. I'm forgot to do that. I don't know. There's a lot of good parts. I definitely know that I did not like the parts with the trials with the bugs and stuff like that. I'm really? I'm didn't Holly read it? Has Holly read it?
Yeah, she
I think
did.
she has.
She did.
Yeah, I thought she'd be freaked out. I don't remember if she talked about being freaked out over the spiders or not. No, she doesn't like spiders.
I don't remember the spiders in the book, but I don't remember if she mentioned that either, but yeah, you're right, she does, she hates spiders.
Yeah.
Like my mom,
It was
she's really
definitely
scared.
a small part, it wasn't as pronounced as, the hornets or the other ones were what were they called? A hornet and the stinger things.
The
I
bees?
can't think of it. No, it was, somebody help me out in the comments. In the desert.
There's a
Scorpions.
bug.
That's what it is.
Oh, scorpion.
Scorpions. I could not think of that word for the life of me. I'm like, what are those stingy things? Thank you, Carly. Scorpions. Why can't I think of that word? But yeah, those were creepy parts. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah,
scorpion.
definitely trials were different. Actually, that wasn't my favorite parts in the trials. Was the first trial when she found joy in the midst of so much struggle and trying to get through the winter storm and all the ice and hurting and stuff. She just found this little spark of joy, and that's what stopped the first trial. I'm like, that's so true. Just when you're going through struggles and going through all this hardship, you have to remember that God loves you, and you got to remember the joy that God brings, not necessarily what's going around you. And I just love that that was her first little trial, and she passed it by finding joy. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I don't remember that, but that is, yeah, that's very true to real life, like you said. I like that.
Yeah, and then the second trial she just ran through. There was she didn't solve it or anything because he ended up stopping time, and they didn't end up solving it. So then all the animals went into the third trial following
Oh,
them.
yeah.
So I'm honestly thought she had to go back and do it over again or something.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember that vaguely.
yeah, and then when the false Bastion came into the third part, she was trying to rescue him, and that was part of the trial. Is she
Mhm.
gonna leave him, or is she gonna um like even though she was struggling and barely could even move, was she willing to sacrifice herself to try to save someone else? So she did, and she passed that one too.
She did, yes. Passed the trial.
Yeah, Elma, the
Man.
bear kept coming. It was scary.
The bear is terrifying.
And when the claw came out and got Bastion, I'm like, no.
Yes, I was so stressed. I was like, yeah. I was like, is everyone just gonna die in this book? Like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm
didn't know how it was gonna end. Couldn't trust.
oh yeah, and later on, after the trials, how he was trying to get her, or Sven was trying to get her to go to the king and be like, hey, even though you don't have wishes anymore, I'm still gonna try to give you to the king. He doesn't know.
I don't know if I have like a favorite part either. I want to say my favorite part was like the ending and like this. I don't know, when I got to see everyone's banes and talents because I thought they were all so interesting and so everybody
Yeah.
was like fighting and everything. I feel like the ending was my favorite part. It was very interesting.
Yeah, for some reason, I really like the part when after Bastion, I like the part when he was completely cleansed at the well, and how he was able to stop time, and he's like, I'm gonna do everything that I can, even though Mirth may be gone already. I want to go and see if I can save her anyways. And even though she possibly was already dead, he still sacrificed himself and said, "I don't want her to have a curse on her anymore. Like, I'll take it, even though she may be gone already." And I'm like,
Such
I
a good
thought his
man.
was gonna be crying too. I thought his was gonna be crying too. I'm like, I thought that was like everybody's curse, like, hey, you can't cry. And then she was like, it has to do with your own talent. I'm like, oh no. And
Yeah.
I put like she says in this part says, for eternity, the next time you stop time, you will never be able to start it again. And I put, well, that stinks, especially if you are by yourself.
That would be horrible. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare. That would
But
be
she
so
didn't say
tormenting.
yeah, but she didn't like say that nobody could go with them. So I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like, he won't be alone.
Yeah, at
Even though
least
they
she can have
aim, he
friends.
won't be alone. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh no, like I want a second part just to see like, you know, like because like like Run's got to be king. He's training to be king. They can't stay forever in the timeless because they'll age and die, and it's like I want them to come back. I want them to train Run.
and we need to see, the romance keep developing. I know. A second book would be cool. I'd be interested like how they would get out of that situation. Like how on
Yeah, I
earth
know.
is that supposed to how would they break that curse? I don't know.
Another trip to the well
Yes. Yeah.
because the
That
trials are
ending.
still there. They never defeated the trial. The trials are still there. Oh well, it doesn't say that the trials aren't there anymore, but it does say that like everyone got a bane and a talent, so to choose between the two. So I guess there probably isn't a trial anymore
Yeah, that's
based on
true. Probably not. I don't know. That ending did surprise me though.
it. Did.
Wasn't
I like
expecting it to end that way.
I like the cute little Run though. He's like, I'm going with you.
I know.
Another adventure. I'm gonna go.
I love him so much. And now like I also like I love I guess I've talked about this before, like the found family trope and everything. So I was, I loved the whole like relationship of Runt with Bastion. I just thought they were so sweet, and he was kind of just like an older brother to him and everything. And the whole thing was just so sweet. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
And
I
that's
love their relationship. Probably one of my, that probably would be one of my favorite relationships in books is Bastion and Run. Like they were like just like so great. Like even though Bastion knew like he made a lot of mistakes, like Run still loved him even though he kept promising and he's
I
like, it's okay,
know.
it's okay.
I know. It was so sweet. I loved it so much. Little Runt. Are there any other discussion questions in the back that would be interesting to ask? I like never look at the discussion questions in books ever.
No, I never do either. Well, that's a good one. If you could stop time like Bastion, what moment would you stop and why?
Ooh, that is a good one.
Well, everyone
He's
around
just
you would be stopped too, unless you like had them with you.
yeah.
I would stop time on Mackinac Island, but like I would travel. Well, I'd have to swim or row a boat because the boats would not be running because there'd be no workers. But I would row a boat or hitch a ride on a speedboat or something, grab my parents, take them back, and live happily ever after on Mackinac Island.
That sounds nice. I don't I don't think I can answer this. I'm terrible at answering the questions, but I overthink things too much. I don't know. I would stop time. That's too hard to answer.
I just thought of my favorite place, and I'm like, okay, I have to make sure my parents come too.
That does sound nice. What about y'all
Ooh,
watching? What
yeah.
moment would y'all stop time? Curious to know.
Or maybe just like this year, like a certain age or something that you
Mhm.
were.
Yeah.
Because I think he still aged when it was, like, regular time. So, like, he was, like, 15, then he stopped time for, like, 30 years, came back, and then stayed a while until he was 20, and then hmm, there's another good question. It says, "Which character do you relate to the most?" That's an interesting question.
I feel like I would need to reread this book and really pay attention to decide. Because off the top of my head, I don't feel like I relate to any of them, but I just don't remember. What about you?
I honestly would probably say Bastion, because I feel like he had a lot of, like, struggles in his past, but, like, he was learning, as he was, like, on his journey, he was learning little by little, like, at like, when he was, like, using her or wanted to use her for her wishes, but then later on, he's talking to his mom, and he's like, "I realized my mistake," and, he was really sorry about it. So I feel like that's me, like, I'm realizing my mistakes in the past, and I'm changing and getting better as I go. So I feel like Bastion is probably my closest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's an
good.
interesting choice because I usually don't pick, like, a guy character that I would
Yeah, that's
that I would
interesting.
read. But, like, just his personality and the way he was, like, growing and learning, I feel like that's closer to my personality, I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like I don't often find myself relating to fictional characters very often.
Neither do I.
Um, I feel like they're always so different from me. They're so much cooler than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
I
I
I
don't
s
have these adventures.
I know. I don't like, yeah, it's really rare that I'm like, "Oh, wow, this character reminds me of me," or "She's so relatable." That doesn't really happen very often.
Yeah. It's like, my life consists of books and YouTube. Let's see if I can find a character that matches that.
Literally. Yeah.
So, were there any other thoughts that anybody wanted to share before we close down tonight? This has been fun, though. I'm really enjoying it. You'll have
It has
to
been.
put in Celestria, during my next readathon. If I do a buddy read, you should definitely pop in. I like chatting with you.
I will definitely. I love chatting with you too. This has been a lot of fun, and I definitely will. I'm trying to I love that you do, like, reading sprints every week or, like, almost every week, and I get so excited. Usually like, there's just stuff going on, so I tend to forget that,
Yeah.
like, you do them some nights, but, like, every time I happen to be on YouTube and then I see it, I get so excited because I love, like, joining you when you're doing that and getting to, like, talk in the comments and kind of, like, hang out with you and, like, the other people that are watching and everything, so I will
I know, it's so
try
much fun.
to when I can, I would love to pop in for any kind of lives or anything that you're doing because it's so fun getting to chat and hang out.
Yeah, you're welcome, Carly. I know, this was a lot of fun. Honestly, I was like, "Hey, I was actually right. I was like, "We're gonna probably be on by, like, about an hour," and I was right. An hour.
You were
At
right, you
least
did good.
we had enough to talk about for an hour.
We did. Yeah, I don't think I have any final thoughts. I feel like we kinda covered everything that I wanted to talk about and stuff that I forgot about, that you brought up, so it's been good.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
good.
last
The
thought.
cover
What
is
did you
beautiful.
rate it?
That's the last thing I wanna point out.
Yes, it is beautiful.
It's so
What did
pretty.
you guys rate it? I'd love to know what you guys rated it. Half stars
Oh,
count.
yeah. They do. I gave it 5 stars, obviously. If there had been more stars, I would give it all the stars. It was so good.
Me too. I'm
Everything
like,
I
is there
could
a
want
button for
in
10
a fiction
stars?
book. Yes. Alma gave it 5
Oh my
stars.
goodness.
Yay!
Awesome. And I don't feel like I see anyone give it, like, lower than 4 or 5 stars. Not even 4 stars, really. Everyone
Yeah,
gave it
it's
5 stars.
mhm. Everybody that I know that's read it has given it, yeah, at least 4 stars at the very least, but it
I
seems
think I'm
pretty,
2
like,
for 2.
universally loved as far as I can
Mhm.
tell.
I feel like I'm 2 for 2. I think the last book I picked for for my readathon was like mostly a 5-star from everybody too. So we're on a roll.
Oh yeah, that was the historical something about under the tulip
Under the
tree or something.
yeah.
That one was so good. You're really good at picking the buddy reads, Katie.
Well,
I
you guys
wasn't even
vote for them, but
expecting
I'm like,
to like that.
we can.
I thought it was gonna be boring, and then I read it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good."
Yeah, this is definitely a reread, Christy. I don't reread very often, but the way I tabbed it in my notes and stuff, I will definitely be rereading it again in the future.
I love rereading books. Part of it is because I tend to forget a lot, even if I love a book. So I'm like, I gotta reread it because I remember important things. Like someone can die, and I'm like, I'll completely forget that they died, and then I read the book again, and it's like I'm reading it for the first time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that this person got killed. So I love
That's the way
rereading
I
books.
am too. That's the way I am too. I'll forget this book like maybe in like 2 or 3 years and be like, oh, I have to pick it up. I won't remember anything.
Yeah, it'll be like the first time all over again.
Alan is asking for other recommendations like this one. Yes, Vivid Carly. I haven't read it yet, but I heard it's really good. I need to read it
Vivid,
this week or
it's so
next
good.
week.
Yes, Katie, I can't wait to see what you think about it. I loved that book so much. It was so good. I
What
can't wait to
other?
read the sequel.
I don't know if there's anything really like this is like really different. Like I haven't read a lot of fantasy though. Lately it's been a while since I've read a lot of fantasy. I'm finally getting back into it because I do love
Yeah, I'm not good at thinking of things on the spot. But yeah, you're right. This one is really different. I read a lot of fantasy, but I feel like a lot of it is like medieval fantasy. And
it.
so this was like all around just pretty different. Ooh, something I will recommend is yes, Fox Chrissy. That one is really good. Also by the same author. That one's historical fantasy set in England. But I'm gonna recommend the Ravenwood Saga by Morgan L. Bussey. It's one of my favorites. It's so good. I love that book.
I'm
Also has
reading that next
characters.
week.
You're reading that one next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's so exciting. Yes, I love that series. And it also has characters with like powers and like abilities, and some of them are really unique. So that one's really cool. Also, yeah, Christian fiction, by the way. So good. Yes. I'm also really excited to see like what this author is coming out with next because I know she's working on like 2 or 3 different things right now. And is something coming out this year or next year? I can't. Maybe next year. I can't remember.
Yeah. I know she was struggling in like one of her recent posts. Like I'm struggling.
Yeah, I know she's like so busy. She has so many kids. Like I don't know how she does it. But yeah, I know like I think some dates have been like pushed back and stuff, but she's working on stuff. And I remember one of them she said was some kind of Viking fantasy, I want to say, and I'm like so
Oh
intrigued
yeah.
I that.
I forgot
That
about
sounds
that.
really cool. I don't know if that's the next one or because like I said she's working on several things, but
I think it might be, yeah, because she's really talking about it on Facebook. I'm like, ooh.
yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited to see what else she comes out with. So ooh, The Choosing by Rochelle Decker. I was really interested in reading that, but I feel like I heard something about it that made me unsure. But I came across it again recently, and it just sounds really good. Have you read that one, Katie?
Not yet. I've only read 9 by her, and that one was pretty good. That one's pretty good. If you like more of a it's I don't know, like it's kind of like that like more kind of X-Men type book, like where
Mm.
like this character has like these abilities and she's kind of being used for the government and she escapes. So that one's really good though. That one's definitely different.
Sounds intriguing to me. I'm now interested. Yeah, I love dystopian. So The Choosing was always like I think I was concerned about what the content was like in it because I'm really picky and I wasn't sure like I feel like I'd heard some things, but it just sounds so interesting that I was like I think I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. I know there's several books.
Yeah, I've read most of her father's work. Her father's Ted Dekker.
Yeah.
And I've read most of his books, and I've only read one of hers, so.
I haven't read much by Ted Dekker either. I have a few books, but I haven't read them yet.
They're very different.
Yeah. I have one of I have one of his like YA series. It's like a trilogy of some sort, and I think they're like all suspense and stuff, so they sound interesting.
Yeah,
We'll see.
they're like Frank Peretti, but I don't think they're that, like, as creepy.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Like, they're more psychological. They're not so, like, into, like the demons and the stuff that, like, Frank Peretti really gets in deep with that stuff, and it's more, like,
Right.
psychological.
Right.
But they're
That
good. I like
sounds
Ted.
sounds good to me. I have always been concerned because a lot of Ted Dekker's covers look really scary, and I was like, I don't know about it. So that's good to know. Very good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 is good. That's one of my favorites. But once you read it, you're kinda like, you can't forget the spoiler. Like, it's definitely one that stays in your mind, so, like, you can't really reread it.
Ah, I need to look
I
into that one.
My dad's never read that book because I spoiled him for it.
Oh no, Katie, how could you?
I was like I think it was, like, probably between 12 and 14, and you know me, I like talking about books, and my dad got me into Ted Dekker, but he never read that one, and so I spoiled him by accident, and he's never picked it up.
Ah,
And it's been,
so
like,
sad.
20 years. It's like, "Okay, Dad."
Ah, so sad. I've never read Raising Dragons, but I've heard about it.
Oh,
I've heard it was good.
I read the first book, it's really good. I have to continue it, and I never have, but I really do, it's really good.
Speaking of Brian Davis, where's that book? Oh, there's like this trilogy that he did that was like, I haven't really talked about it much, but like it was interesting. But it's, what is it called? The Reapers trilogy, I think, by Brian Davis. It's like I think what they would call like an urban fantasy, and it's very like, I don't know, it's like set like in this future where people like these kids are selected to be reapers and like grim reapers kind of, and they come and take the souls of the dying and like deliver them to the great beyond so the souls can be free, because it's a whole thing. I can't explain it that much. That one was really interesting fantasy. That was very different. I read the whole trilogy, and I've been wanting to read more by the author since then because they were interesting for sure.
I'm I'm laughing because I can hear my mom snore from the other room. At least not that loud. I took her phone, so she has nothing to do.
Oh, so she's just sleeping, catching up on some sleep.
Yeah, and I didn't give her a new book to read. She's done with her TBR this month, so.
Nice. Congratulations to her. I'm still working on my TBR.
Her TBR was short. It was like 3 books, so
Oh, okay. Still though, very nice.
she did good. She's a fast reader when she gets into a book, so.
Hmm.
She won't
I'm
read
still
unless I
trying.
give her a book, though.
I'm at the very end of North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I have 7 chapters left. I'm so close.
I'm not Am I reading anything else? Yes, I am. I'm like no, I did start, Shadow in the Mind's Eye by, Jane Eyre Trump. That one's definitely different. It's contemporary. It has to do with, like, PTSD, a soldier coming back from war, and he's, like, seeing things and stuff, so
Ooh.
definitely learning from this one.
Yeah, very, very different. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm meeting her
Chrissy.
next month, so, like, I have to read it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, Chrissy. I'm so glad you can make it.
Thank you, Christy. I know you were excited about this, so happy you got to hop in and chat with us a little bit.
Me too. Have a good night.
My cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
Mine always do too after doing like video chats and stuff.
Yeah, because 'cause you're,
Always.
like, always smiling and you're, like, excited about talking, you're like, "Oh."
I know, I know. Every time. That's a good thing though.
It is a good thing because those muscles aren't used all
No.
that often, like, especially, like, all in a row.
I know.
Well, I think we're done. We exhausted all the book.
We did. We had a good turnout too. It says there's 13 people watching.
That's about average, so I'm happy that everyone popped in, and I think most everybody from my reading sprints popped in. I think some are missing, but that's okay. They probably haven't read the book yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so happy you guys came, and thank you to
Me too.
Celestia for popping in. Wait, don't leave. If you haven't followed her, I'm gonna link her channel down below so you guys can check her out.
Thank you so much. And
I
thank
always
you so much for inviting me to do this. This was a lot of fun. My first live book chat.
Okay, there we go. I'll put it in the comments so you guys can check her out. All right. So, yep, some will catch the replay. I know some of my friends like they didn't finish the book and they're only halfway through and stuff. So make sure
Yeah.
to check out the replay if you missed stuff. And thank you, Celestria, for hanging out. You're welcome to everyone. I'm so happy you guys enjoyed it and came and chatted with us. So much fun. So it was definitely a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to chat about this book. So can't wait for the
Yes.
next one.
Me too.
Okay. So thank you everyone for popping in and yeah, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, how do I stop a lot? There we go.